Okay, welcome back. This time we are doing the Tundran units, and it's been a bit longer than I wanted it to be. As usual, complications arise, even though I expected this to be a lot easier than the last one. But anyway, we're going to start with level 2 of the Frontier campaign. There's a number of things that I can talk about in this level. And there's one unique unit, or one unit I should say, that you don't get to use ever, which is the gun tower. Though I did show it in the first game when I went over the Tundran units there, and it's pretty much the same.
Commander, the enemy has established anti-air defenses at the river.
So, we're starting off in a Tundran heavy tank, which surprisingly does not show up nearly as much as it did in the first game. It's in Border Patrol, which is the skirmish level, and this mission, of course. So, pretty much the same as it was in the first game, though. And I'll be using it a bit more in a bit to attack that artillery. But first, let me put this in follow mode. Let me put this in follow mode to get them out of bounds. And while I'm doing that, let me go over here. I can't control transfer like that? Oh.
Gee whiz, Commander. Those are Tundran MG towers up ahead. Destroy them with your artillery.
So this is the MG tower. The same one that was in the first game. Let me see, where's my... Oh. Gotta put him back in follow mode. Okay, so this is the gun tower, as I was saying. It's pretty much the same as it was before. It's kind of hard to tell, but it is shooting, I think, 4 bullets, but they're all kind of clumped up at first when you first shoot. It can actually fire, like, you can lock onto things from really far away, which is cool. I got the attention of that artillery. But anyway, that's pretty much it. The best camera for it is, like, zoomed out once. But if you're zoomed in all the way, you can't really see what you're doing. Alright, let's switch to the air transport. So here's the air transport. It's pretty much the same as all the other air transports. It has the same kind of camera glitch as the Anglo transport, where if you're zoomed in to your normal camera, it's way out here, but if you zoom out, it actually gets closer and you can see better. But everyone's probably tired of hearing about air transports by now. It's pretty much the same. You can't land, and you can't attack anything. So that's that. Now the assault veteran. Here he is. One of the few Tundran infantry units that you actually don't get to use in single player. But he does show up in a number of online levels. Well, at least 2 anyway. It might be more than that. But he does make more appearances in total than he does in the first game. So that's cool. And pretty much the same as all the other assault veterans. Apart from how he looks. He has kind of a neat helmet, I guess. So that said, let me call attention to what's going on down here. As you can see, I have 7 units under my command. Grunt, Assault, Bazooka, Heavy Tank, Frigate, Gunship, and Air Transport. And if you have 7 units, because as you know, 6 is the maximum in any level that you'll end up having normally. So if you have more than that, it actually does this thing where it'll group them all up like this, and then you can scroll through them. Which you would never actually see this happen unless you modded the game and ended up with more units under your command than 6. But another kind of interesting thing that makes me wonder if they'd originally intended for you to have more than 6 units under your command given the fact that they bothered to make this kind of setup for it. So there's that. And something else interesting in this level that I've never seen in another level is that they altered the movement speed of the frigates just in this level so that they're extremely slow. And right now I'm moving as fast as I can. And if I put the other one in follow mode, it still also goes slow. My guess is that they did this to prevent the frigates from moving around too much in here and from like going way upstream and just making it really inconvenient for you. But yeah, this is as fast as they can move here, so I thought that was kind of funny. Those gunships aren't doing anything right now. So let's go attack the artillery now, since that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. And Gorgi actually sometimes calls in a couple more gunships to attack the artillery, but I think that's only if they move up far enough. But yeah, and then the bazooka veterans, of course, you get to use in single player. So in general, you get to use most of Tundra's units, I think, or at least a lot of them, between online and single player. But there are still a few that you don't get to use at all that are pretty interesting, like the Recon, which we'll be getting to in the next level. Let's see if I can not get blown up by all these artillery shots. No, bazooka veterans! Don't die. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. Oh yeah, I should be able to. Okay, so that was level 2. Okay, next up we have 2-3. So let's go there. There's a couple of things that are pretty cool here, especially the Tundra Recon. This is the only level in the second game that has it, so it's pretty scarce in the first game, but even more so in the second.
10 HUD, Commander. All available intel suggests it's our... Get to the HQ, Commander, and stop the enemy from capturing it.
So, just like in level 3-4, where I had to start out as that rifle grunt in the tower in order to get it to work, it's the same thing with this level. I have to start out as this Recon, but I changed its allegiance to Tundran so that I'd be playing on the Tundran side. But here's a kind of interesting thing. Since the grunts that are driving it are still Frontier Allegiance, it makes the Recon actually act as if it's Western Frontier Allegiance as well. So I can play as Tundra and be on the Frontier side right now since the grunts driving it are Frontier. But if I switch to a Tundran unit, that Recon will actually be fighting against me now. So that's pretty interesting. Though it still is displayed as red because the Recon itself is Tundran. Again, since the grunts are Western Frontier, it will still be on the Western Frontier side. And over here we have the Tundran Recon. And like I said, this is the only level that has it. Now, in the first game, it had some issues, if you watched my video on the Tundran units in Battalion Wars 1. But it seems like they fixed the main problems with it. like the issue where it would turn around if you tried to go up a steep slope. That doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. Though its physics are still different from the Western Frontier Recon, noticeably so in fact. It still drives like pretty well. And if I had to guess, the reason for that is probably because there was originally going to be a recon race mission for online, which I found by going to the XML file that lists all the missions in the game. And it's not in the game anymore, but the file that lists the missions that are in the game still shows the recon racing level. So they probably wanted to make sure that the recon would actually like work the way it should. And it's a shame that level got cut, since it would have been really cool to be able to do like a racing level, especially in 4-player, since there's actually 4 recons in this game, with the Exylvanian and Solar Empire ones as well.
What are you talking about, Gorgie? We ain't got no super weapon.
So yeah, this is the recon. And I think I said pretty much everything I needed to say about it.
Capture the factory before advancing on the northern barracks.
And next up, actually first let me put all my stuff in defend mode over there. We have the Battleship. And this is the only single player level that has the Tundran Battleship. Wait, no. There are 2 actually. This one and 3-2, no, 3-3 also has them, allied with the Solar Empire. But you get to use it online. It's the only naval unit of the Tundran territories that you don't get to use in single player. Okay. And we can go under this bridge. You can't go any farther upstream because the water is too shallow. But if you wanted to, you could use it to defend the factory because it has a really clear shot of it. But anyway, not much to say besides that. So we'll try to go capture the Frontier HQ now. It shouldn't be too difficult. But before that, let me just say, similarly to 3-4, this would actually be a really good level for online, as like kind of the same thing as I said before. It would be good to kind of mix assault and skirmish here, because there's facilities all around here. And if you started the Frontier out with this barracks, and then made the factory and airbase neutral, or just gave the Frontier the factory and Tundra the airbase, then it'd be pretty well set up for skirmish in that way. But also, since both armies have an HQ, you can make the primary objective to capture the enemy HQ to win, which I think would be really cool. And also, since both armies have similar units, now let's go try to capture it. We probably won't need the gunships. Actually, speaking of gunships, let's go mess with these Exylvanians while that's happening. You can still destroy all this stuff regardless of what army you are. And Kaiser Vlad will still get mad.
Your actions only provoke me, Commander. Someday you shall feel the full wrath.
So if we could figure out how to add more units to the level, we could actually make this a pretty interesting 3-way battle if we wanted to, between Exylvania, Frontier, and Tundra. But that's still definitely a ways off, seeing as we don't know how to add units that aren't already in the level. And Exylvania only has grunts and transports here.
Frontier HQ is mine. Now run back to the desert where you belong.
And we got the HQ.
The enemy just captured our HQ.
Which would have been harder if the Western Frontier left their grunts in the MG nests, but after the initial wave of Tundran units, they jump out. Probably to prevent the commander from accidentally leaving them there. That's my guess.